another Premiership season reaches a fascinating climax. This is a really big game. West Ham against Blackburn Rovers. Our match commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Our match referee is Kelvin Morton, wondering whether this will be his last game at this level. He hopes the Premiership authorities will extend his career in the middle another year, but he has to wait to hear that news. Jack Walker. Blackburn Rovers closing in on his dream. But there's still work to be done. A point I'm sure Kenny Dalglish has hammered home to his players. Ray Harford, his right-hand man to his right-hand side. Blackburn to kick off. A win for them and the crown is virtually theirs. Defeat would surely put doubts in their minds, and West Ham have plenty of incentives to look for their own inspiration here. Those results went so well for West Ham yesterday, particularly the defeats for Norwich, Crystal Palace and Aston Villa. Here's Berg. Shearer wondering where this might drop. The strong Danish defender Mark Rieper seeing him off. It's a free kick called against Shearer.
He did well, Rieper. I thought the goalkeeper should have come and given him a hand. Certainly that's what Rieper was looking for. This is a long ball. It's in the air a long time. I thought Mikloško saw his starting position about penalty spot. I thought he could have helped his defender, but he did well, kept his body between Shearer and the ball.
First involvement for Witschge to dispossess Tim Breacker well, and then second involvement to head the ball forward to where Chris Sutton is brought down. Saux. So welcome to England to Richard Witschge. He hasn't played for Holland for more than 3 years now. His older brother Rob's rather taken the limelight from him internationally. Sutton. Battling to get it back again, typically. But it's a West Ham throw. West Ham went down in 89, again in 92. That 3-year cycle is up again, but 6 matches unbeaten going into today's contest. A real indication that they're determined under Harry Redknapp to stay put in the Premiership. Pitch has been heavily watered.
Good nick the pitch, man. I had a little walk across it earlier, and it is very good nick. No excuses from the players at all in that department.
And pretty well grasped for this stage in the season. Boere, West Ham's Dutchman. Bishop. Well, the crowd certainly doing their best to inspire West Ham. Harry Redknapp has been whipping up the support with his pre-match comments. Something we often emphasise about matches here at Upton Park. West Ham do love playing the evening games, but it's natural light here. Whether they'll be able to come up with quite the same intensity that happens in midweek remains to be seen. The home record this year hasn't been very impressive. Hutchison is flagged offside. Andy, you mentioned those comments about Don Hutchison in a couple of national newspapers from Harry Redknapp, and Harry denies having said what has been attributed to him, and he's apologised to Don Hutchison. So all is pretty well between player and manager on that front. gets a foot in. Cult figure of Julian Dix. The Blackburn captain is Tim Sherwood. Berg at centre-back. David Batty just glad to be back. Ripley did well to ease it infield to Shearer. Sherwood. Witschge set off. Pass too strong for him. His starting position perhaps a bit on the narrow side.
Little unlucky, Blackburn. Trying to play football even in their own half and under pressure, trying to pop the ball about, work some space early on.
Allen posting it, it'll veer through to Flowers. Saux. Breacker did well to deal with the bounce. Moncur, ball player in midfield, and Bishop not far behind in that respect. Here's Dix. Cross to the deflection, gets to Boere's head. That's the strength in his game. Breaker. Bishop. And Witschge working back well. Batty. Well, Hutchison, who can be a bit fiery when challenged, and has had more disciplinary problems in his career than he would wish. Just wondering whether his feet were flailing here, but he was going for the ball.
I think it was the second time round, this one here.
That one, yes.
When he's really jumped in two-footed at Richard Witschge.
Dix. Batty, well played. Sutton. Blackburn's throw. Quickly delivered by Sutton. Oh, Ripley hasn't had any luck in front of goal this season. He's been a great provider of goals for others, but he hasn't scored all season long himself.
That's an incredible statistic, that. It's not as if he doesn't put himself in positions to score goals either.
Here's Holmes. Now Dix. Boere calling for it, goes instead to Hutchison. So, trigger something off the Blackburn here with the help of Witschge. Bishop in the way. Hutchison. Allen. Breaker. And Tim Sherwood wanting the referee to give Blackburn a bit of protection here. One or two West Ham tackles flying in.
Well, they're fired up for it, man, that's the thing. They're on a good run, as we've said already on the programme, and Harry's got his side fired up for this match.
And their fate is very much really dependent on their home form. 4 out of 5 at home, including today for West Ham United. Sutton. Witschge slipped Breaker. Batty there to lend a hand. Here's the Saux. Sherwood, quite a stable of internationals Blackburn have now, including Jeff Kenna, who won his first cap for the Republic of Ireland last Wednesday as a substitute against Portugal. Sutton. Well, Witschge was looking for a bit more from Saux, who had some good grace to apologise. I don't think it was totally his fault, but there was certainly a breakdown in communication on the left-hand side for Blackburn.
Been a very positive and confident start from Blackburn.
Boere. Witschge flying back to get involved again and rushing past Ray Harford there. It might just have encouraged him to offer more of the same. Batty. Here's Kenna. Rieper is well built to pick things off in the air. So, at the moment, West Ham having to do the defending, but more on the edge of the area. Blackburn haven't looked like penetrating yet, but they've set the agenda here positively.
Very confidently, they've popped the ball about really well, Blackburn. And I think West Ham have been quite happy to retreat to the edge of the 18-yard box and then say, OK, we're going to defend here in numbers.
Filling that slot on the right of the four in midfield for West Ham. Boere, Moncur offside. It certainly looked that way. It was just a case of waiting for the flag to come.
They've kept a good line a couple of times, Blackburn. Once or twice here, you watch Berg, he just holds his line, up goes the hands, quite clearly offside.
Fine tackle by Potts. And Shearer, crowd enjoyed that. Holmes, twisting and turning. Not delivering deep enough for Boere or Hutchison. And here's Saux on the move. Allen. Blackburn defending well up the field again. They might not be too concerned about pace in the West Ham front line, although Hutchison's a decent mover. Boere is more an attacker of crosses than a runner in behind defenders. He'll be looking for some supply from wide positions, and he's chipped in with some useful goals recently for West Ham. He's challenging here, Berg. He drops a Moncur. Hendry in the way, played wide to Allen by Bishop. Good idea. A rash lunge by Martin Allen on Graham Saux. Kelvin Morton showing a sympathetic viewpoint to the importance of this game and a smiling countenance to try and diffuse the early tension.
I have to think it's quite refreshing, Martin. I've been at games with 3 tackles, the likes of which we've seen, where there were 3 yellow cards following them. So it's quite refreshing that the referee is showing a bit of leniency.
The neuroses that might be around this game, we should remember there are some pretty fine footballers on view. And
if the game settles and flows, there is a real chance of being some wonderful football played. I think all 4 central midfield players want to get on the ball and want to pop passes and bring other people into play.
It was of course a classic between the two sides in January up at Ewood Park. West Ham played so well, they were 2-1 up. They conceded 2 penalties. Shearer got a hat-trick and Blackburn won 4-2. Not without a lot of heartache along the way. Witschge getting a foot in. Here is Shearer, runs out off Allen. Saux. Batty. Blackburn get it back again. Batty on the business end of things. Rebounds off Ripley to be collected by Kenna. Kenna's had 1 or 2 jobs in his short Blackburn career. He's played at left back, he's played wide right midfield, and he's at right back today. Ripley's cross. Oh, and Rieper headed it away from his own goalkeeper, but he got it away. That's the main thing.
Don't mind that, Martin. I think goalkeeper might have a little word with him, but if you're a centre-back and you're not sure, then Mark Rieper, for me, did the right thing. Cleared his lines. Roger, he's not sure. It's a teasing and testing ball. And that's a good clearance. He gets it well outside the 18-yard box. And I think at the end of the day, his goalkeeper would be happy with that. He's been involved quite a lot in the opening 13 minutes. He's coped well so far.
It's another Scandinavian centre-back who's in the wars. Berg, who plays in the middle of Norway's defence. Scored a goal for them in midweek. And he got a boot here from Boere. Dalglish has had to chop and change and come up with some different personnel. with suspensions and injuries. Timely recovery from Batty, of course. Ripley. And Sherwood complaining that he was obstructed by Rieper, who stood his ground and let the goalkeeper collect, and Sherwood couldn't get round him.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As a defender, you're entitled to stand your ground. You mentioned David Batty, Martin, at a time when they need a cool head and someone with authority. To be able to call on him in the last month of the season, it must have been... Oh well, Kenny must have been absolutely delighted with that. Such an influential person in this side, I felt last year. And to be able to call upon, I think Mark Atkins has done a wonderful job in as his replacement. But I think Kenny knows his experience, and he's been the... We often talk about having gone the distance. David Batty has gone the distance in a league championship win with Leeds, and that'll be vital.
Yes, that was 3 years ago, and of course Manchester United came here to Upton Park in the driving seat. West Ham were on their way down and still won the game. And Leeds went on to take the title. Hendry is hurt, and they can get some attention to him now. A player who's been an absolute hero. The real Roy of the Rovers, if you like. Boere, like Hutchison, is a forward who'll throw his weight around and risk getting into trouble with his tackling.
I don't think there was anything wrong with Boere's tackle, man. I think it was pretty fair. I think it was just the impact of the collision, really, that's caused Colin Hendry problems. Down at the ankle. I know he's had some problems with his ankle over recent months. I don't know if it was that left one. They're a bit higher up, so perhaps not too bad.
Colin Hendry was voted third by the football writers in their poll for Footballer of the Year. Alan Shearer second. The Blackburn vote rather split, allowing Jurgen Klinsmann, congratulations to him, to be named yesterday as the Footballer of the Year for this particular season. Hutchison. Holmes, problems for Blackburn here. Allen going in, Moncur's there, goalkeeper was flailing, and John Moncur from a tight angle couldn't hit the target.
It's half a chance. I thought Matthew Holmes might have delivered it first time because it was there to be delivered. Then he gets lucky here because the block from Kenna just sends it spiralling into the air. Tim Flowers completely misses it there, and Moncur's onto it in a flash. He takes it quite high. I just wonder, could he have allowed it to drop another 6 inches or a foot? That would have been easier to control. But I think they've got problems with Colin Hendry. They're certainly worried about him because Mike Newell, as we can see out there, warming up. Both of them are.
Mark Atkins as well.
He doesn't look at all 100% happy at the moment, Colin Hendry. Chris Sutton, I noticed, has just gone back and had a word with him and is now making moves forward.
Well, that would be one obvious way of solving the problem, or trying to solve it, by asking Sutton to play at centre-back, as he has done in the past at Norwich, of course, and indeed for England at under-21 level. Here he is still up front and trying a shot. But if they moved him back, Newell could then partner Shearer. But for the moment, it's all on hold because Hendry is going to soldier on. Julian Dix was a scorer against Blackburn up at Ewood Park. Batty. Sutton. Sherwood. Sutton. That's interesting. For Shearer, was that handball? The linesman is flagging. It's wide in any case.
I just wonder if Julian Dix is in a bit of trouble here. He is. He's just been booked. The tackle on Chris Sutton, right underneath you and I here, was a little late. Kelvin Morton, to his credit, allowed play to go on. And watch this tackle here as he just plays it. There it is. And that's the one he's booked for. But this is a handball. The left arm comes out. I'm not so sure Kelvin Morton would have had a good view of that. But the linesman flag went up straight away. And that's the booking.
It's hardly a new experience for Julian Dix to be shown the yellow card. Breacker. Looking for Allen. Control is good. Hoists it up. Boere gets to it. Hutchison's there. Headed out by Berg. Bishop and Witschge. Drops for Allen and just rolls away from him. Moncur. Hutchison pulling out. Hendry gets his head to it. Sherwood. Chris Sutton yet again back in midfield when Blackburn need him. It's boiling up here now.
That was West Ham's best piece of pressure. But it was noticeable when they had the pressure, as you pointed out. Sutton right back into the midfield area, putting 10 men behind the ball, only leaving Alan Shearer ahead of it.
Pot's not the biggest, but he was well placed. He needs to be again. Sutton gets to it. Ripley. Corner. Mikloško distracted in the end by Tim Sherwood. Just over 20 minutes gone. Witschge to take the corner, not too sure about the placing. Bounces off the head of Hutchison. His fellow striker Boere back as well. Moncur. Allen. Well, Hendry moving well enough there. Blackburn fans will be delighted to see that.
Yeah, it looks okay now.
Saux. Batty. Away though from Ripley. Here's Dix. Hutchison. Kelvin Morton this time after another latest challenge allows the game to go on. West Ham a little happier about that now that they've got the ball back. Hutchison is back on his feet. Very little time on the ball though, as Batty found out then.
He'll still be coming to speed, David Batty. Been out a long time, and it does take you, I think, 8 to 12 games to really get to match speed. And I think that shows a positive start from Blackburn Rovers. Look at all that pressure they're exerting.
But without, as yet, really troubling the goalkeeper. Holmes. Oh, he's a popular figure here, Matt Holmes. Always seems to be taking on defenders looming much larger than the West Ham number 11. Moncur for Breacker. Linesman has his flag up. Kelvin Morton allows the game to go on, having acknowledged what was happening from his colleague. Here's Hendry. Saux. The flag against Blackburn this time, and Witschge in particular.
I think it's probably just bent out for a throw-in. I think that's what the linesman was signalling.
Blackburn have been so consistent for so much of the season. But recently, it's been a roller coaster ride for them. Going back to that really panicky performance at Everton, where they somehow came away with the points. Of course, they were looking very good at Leeds until they let in that last-minute equaliser. And then, of course, Manchester City made a real mess of their usually disciplined defence. A defence that's been penalised here in the shape of Berg.
You should see that why he's been penalised. Gets up early but uses his arms over the top of Boere's shoulders.
Berg got it the second time. Ripley. Kenna goes outside. Stuart Ripley. Infield the Sherwood and Batty. Well, Ripley had a look at the ball, he had a look at Sherwood to see whether he might have got there. Neither were able to do that, and it's a goal kick.
Well, they've been all right, Blackburn, up to what you would call the killing ground, the 18-yard box, and then it's rather just drifted away. Plenty possession, 30 yards, 35 yards from goal, but as yet no real penetration.
Chance for a man who played 100 Premiership games before today and scored 79 goals, a certain Mr. Shearer. Here he is. It's handball against him.
I mean, they've dominated possession, Blackburn, they're dominating territorially, but the scares have really been at Tim Flowers' end.
Accentuated by the crowd noise.
Of course.
His game is more than just a rugged, robust approach. Here he is again. It's a fine ball to Breacker. Moncur. Witschge trying to get the tackling in as though he's really been well briefed about how to play the English game. He's in there again, but late on Breacker. But it's a Blackburn throw. Had a good hour in a reserve game recently, and on the strength of that, Kenny Dalglish deciding to go with the Dutchman today. Shearer does that donkey workout in the wide position so willingly. Not so often on the left-hand side, he likes to work onto his right foot. But he's battled to give Blackburn the throw, the ball in the hands of Saux. And onto the head of Breacker. Hendry. It looks routine stuff along the back line, but they're playing here knowing that there are still banana skins between them and the title itself, and there could be a slip at any point. This is a difficult place to come and win.
It is at the best of times, as you pointed out, as Manchester United found out not so long ago. But when West Ham are desperate for the points, it makes it even more difficult.
Well, it was Moncur who got the better of Batty. The natural shape on that right-hand side.
They played a blind pass, I felt there, John Moncur, after winning the ball very well. Left everybody behind and just rather gave it away a bit.
John Moncur, of course, was relegated last season with Swindon. Steered wide to Ripley by Shearer. Blackburn press on from here, helped by a slip from Holmes. Shearer. It comes for Kenna. And it flew across the face. It's a corner.
Oh, that could just as easily have flown past Mikloško into the top corner. It's a lovely move again, though. Kenna got himself involved very early, and everyone thinks everyone's missed him out, but Shearer spotted the run and played a beautiful ball. And a yard lower, the big goalkeeper could have done nothing.
So Witschge will take the corner. Blackburn looking for a breakthrough here, which would mean so much to them. Oh, Sherwood. It's a corner again.
Yeah, I think that might have just been sneaking wide, but I don't think Breacker was taking any chances. Drops down, he hits it very well. Just there, it is sneaking wide, but Breacker didn't know that.
Dix and Potts rather confused. The earlier corner was met emphatically by Rieper, but the smaller West Ham players had to deal with that one and weren't so convincing. Saux. Martin Allen hit a real vein of form towards the end of last season to contribute, I think, 5 goals in the last 6 games. One of them here against Blackburn to help keep the Hammers in the division. Sherwood. Shearer, great climb. Ripley. Potts lofting it away. Happened the other way round a bit earlier. I'm willing to give Berg the doubt that it wasn't intentional revenge. I think he's too cool a customer to risk getting in trouble for that. But it's rather balanced it up, hasn't it, Andy?
Well, I think all he did is he's learned. He put his head there 5 minutes ago and almost got it kicked off. He thought, well, I'm not putting my head there this time.
Julian Dix is on first-name terms with most referees around. But I would stress again that he's a fine footballer. He's had to develop his career really with a handicap of a serious knee injury. He's done well to overcome that. Rather restricts his galloping forward these days, and Redknapp's been concerned he's not getting up quick enough to take free kicks around the edge of the penalty area, which he wants him to do every time West Ham get them. He might get one here. They're looking for a penalty, and they're not going to get that. Emphatically denied by the referee's gesture.
I think Shearer was a little bit unhappy. You could see him having words with Breacker. I think he felt he made a little bit of a meal of that.
Holmes. Boere with distraction. Hutchison has the shot, hits Saux. Moncur. It's a bit more physical pressure from West Ham. They're getting bodies in there, the home team looking for an up-tempo approach. Moncur certainly supplying it. Dix looking to hit it, scuffed it. Even then it might have come to something off Hutchison. Rieper has to scurry. And Shearer's right there, he made up the ground very quickly. I thought it might be his throw, but it's not.
We can have a look at what they were talking about, claiming for they're looking for one there. I thought he had a little tug at Hutchison, I have to say, but this is the one with Shearer that he felt that maybe Breacker went over rather easily there.
It was an easy decision to give. Witschge on Allen. Witschge played for Ajax and for Barcelona. Pretty good pedigree that. Now for Blackburn Rovers. Oh, nervous Blackburn Rovers then.
Well, I think Boere is causing him a few problems here early. I think every ball that they've knocked up to him, if he hasn't won it, then he's stopped either Berg or Hendry getting a good, clean defensive header.
Well, the crowd calling for Kenna to be booked. Calvin Morton comes to that conclusion. Holmes was nipping past him.
Nice skill. He's a little unlucky, Kenna. He's only fractionally out with the tackle.
Possibilities here for West Ham United. Holmes takes. Looked for an instant as though Don Hutchison was well placed to head goalwards then. Potts are looking for Hutchison again. Moncur. Then Hendry got in, back from Breacker, too long.
Well, I, like you, thought Don Hutchison had a free header and was just about to plant one on target. Whether he took his eye off it, whether there was a Blackburn challenge in there, I'm not sure.
Don Hutchison, who of course was brought into the big time at Liverpool by Kenny Dalglish back in 1990. Bishop was clever with the ball at his feet, and a lovely pass for Holmes. The two big men for West Ham to Holmes' right. Martin Allen's on the scene as well. And Bishop. Ooh. There's some angry reactions here. Batty booked.
I don't think there's any arguments about the referee's decision here. He's high and he's late.
Well, the argument, Andy, would be whether a yellow card is strong enough.
We mentioned his leniency early on. Now, he wasn't dipping into his pocket quickly, the referee. Now, he's pulled David Batty over. I think he's going to have a quick word with him as well. I think he might just be explaining to him he's lucky that it isn't red.
Well, feelings, of course, very near the surface today. Can understand the emotions, the need for success, the desire for victory, the pursuit of the ball, but the ball is long gone. And Ian Bishop is happy to be back on his feet again here. But West Ham, you feel, are starting to prey on some Blackburn nerves.
Yeah, I thought that West Ham looked a more nervous side in the opening exchanges, and Blackburn certainly dominated that without really causing too many problems. But the home side look as if they're growing now a little bit.
Well, the instructions are for Dix to take the free kicks. But it's into the wall this time. Breacker. Boere can get to this one, no. Hendry made it his. It's straight old-fashioned stuff, you might call it. The high ball in to one forward in particular who's fearless in putting his head on the crosses if he can get there, Boere. Bishop turning back, he couldn't make the tackle that time, but Ripley had to, and it's a free kick, but only a free kick.
He did well there, Ian Bishop. First of all to win the ball, and then I think he won his team the free kick. Great little skill, little nutmeg on Stuart Ripley, and earned the free kick for obstruction.
West Ham really hotting up here. Holmes takes. That's Rieper, and it's going to loop over the top.
Oh, that was close. That was close. Unchallenged. Just about 2 or 3 inches too high for Mark Rieper. The ball's a good one in from Holmes. 6 inches lower. I felt sure he would have hit the target. This is the best spell though, and it is noticeable that Bishop's starting to put 1 or 2 passes and get involved a little bit.
Well, you get nothing easy in the English game, and long, long may that continue. And Blackburn here giving away a succession of free kicks. The shape of the game has changed. And
well, that's an unbelievable decision. Obviously the referee felt there was no infringement on Matt Holmes. Everyone else in the ground felt there was.
And it's handball because West Ham thought they were going to take the free kick. As you say, there was no whistle.
It's just after this now. He drags the ball back here. Watch, a little drag back there. Now that's a free kick in anybody's language. Witschge just dragging his foot.
Well, the action area is reflecting the change in the shape of the game. But here's Saux. Blackburn looking to bounce back, and Shearer's in there. So too is Hendry. Rieper got his head to it. Bravery required. It really is compelling stuff at Upton Park. Kenna. And there will be more of the same, I'm sure, at Highfield Road tomorrow night. Coventry still need a point or two themselves against Manchester United, who will be wanting to win all 4 of their remaining games and just see whether Blackburn might crumble at the last. Hutchison. Here's Allen. Good work off the ball. Various candidates for that for West Ham, and 1 or 2 options. Breacker had gone down the outside. Hutchison wanted to be involved. Out come Blackburn with Batty. Shearer. That's the mobility of Steve Potts at the back for West Ham.
That was a great tackle.
Ripley.
Well, the pace is up to notch or 2, isn't it now?
Well, I think, like the referee, you and I are watching every challenge here very closely indeed. Shearer. Sutton's in front of Rieper. Well, Shearer had space there, but he wanted the ball played to him, and maybe there wasn't much room to move at the risk of being offside. Pushing by Boere, and maybe a chance for Blackburn to get the ball into the box here. Quickly taken free kick. Out comes Mikloško. He's so happy in England, he's hoping to become a British citizen, keep his family based here, where they've made so many friends.
I think we would have expected a busier afternoon in the opening 41 minutes than he's had.
Bishop. Boere's caught another one. Hendry this time is...
Well, 2-1 now.
Well, he spilt some blood as well. He's had a sponge to his face. It is not an occasion for the faint-hearted.
I think, like most games this weekend, Martin, that have involved teams who are desperate for points. No surprise to see the game as tight as it's been.
And that means most games, because there's still so much to be decided.
I think for the teams that are down there, it's the fear factor. It's fear of making a mistake that costs your side so dear. But I must say that West Ham's attitude today has been first class.
Sherwood. Witschge under challenge from Allen. Well, West Ham, I was at Norwich yesterday, and West Ham's so much more confident than City were at Carrow Road. When they had a real chance to beat Liverpool and then faltered at the last. Harry Redknapp actually went to watch Queen's Park Rangers play at Chelsea. Queen's Park Rangers who play West Ham in midweek, in the forthcoming week, and as he drove away early, so much good news kept coming through from Leeds, where Villa were beaten by a late goal, and of course at Carrow Road as well, Ian rushed up with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think for both West Ham and Coventry, they didn't play, but very, very good day for both of them.
Here, West Ham can influence proceedings themselves, and they're doing their utmost to do that. Harry Redknapp, who articulates better than most the pressures on managers in this situation, and he's just visual evidence of it, isn't he? Can't relax. Walking tension. They'd be able to relax if West Ham could win here. Really, they would believe with 3 more home games to come after that, that salvation should be attainable. They've got the win here yet. And Blackburn, although they've had a difficult 15 minutes or so, and that's really summed up by the scars on Hendry's face. Blackburn unbowed, Flowers not beaten. They haven't created a great deal going forward for all the SAS and the supporting troops. Kenna, Batty. Here's Berg. Now Saux. Glanced on for Shearer, looking to hold off Potts. Witschge joining in. No time for a rethink there from Sutton. Bishop. Here's Dix. Oh, he's getting an earful from his teammates for that, and he was biting back with a comment or two of his own. Berg. Close to half-time now. 0-0 at Upton Park. Batty. In case you've forgotten, Blackburn still have to play Newcastle at home. Newcastle perhaps still needing a point or two to qualify for Europe. They've gone off the boil dramatically recently. And the final game, almost poetically, at Anfield for Kenny Dalglish. The Saux. Could have sat up for Sherwood, didn't. It's been one or two nearly moments for Blackburn. Ripley gets it back from Bishop. Here's Kenna. Berg wins that battle with Boere, but there'll be plenty more to come. Holmes. Play on, says the referee, with good judgment. Moncur. Boere climbing. Allen was, 6 inches behind in the header. So nearly the link-up that West Ham have been looking for.
Again, it was Boere causing the damage with that knockdown. I can't help thinking at times like that how they're missing Tony Cottee. Martin, I think that Don Hutchison is not an out-and-out striker in the way that Cottee is. And I think that's just something that they've lacked off these little touches that Boere have been able to get on the ball. Someone with the instinct of a Tony Cottee.
Shearer's head. Bishop was trying to control it really on the half volley and didn't manage it in stoppage time.
Well, he didn't quite meet it. He was rather stretching when he finally made contact with the ball. Just on the stretch a bit, leaning slightly back, didn't quite make full contact with it.
That's gone all the way through to Shearer. Kenna. Sutton. Holmes gets in again and connecting with the ball. Kelvin Morton having a little look at him and a smile. There's nothing between these two teams. It's been a battling first half here. And Batty complaining to the referee who's not given Blackburn a free kick.
Well, this is the moment he's complaining about. I have to say, I think he's a bit unlucky. I think the fact that he popped up and he rode the tackle better than most have done this afternoon helped Matty Holmes.
Hendry.
It's not been an easy game for a referee to run the rule over. I have to say, there's been tackles flying in and it's been difficult for him to judge whether there's any intent in any of those.
Berg, Holmes, he lifted it away from Batty for a moment, then it deflects to Allen off Sherwood. Flowers makes absolutely sure, exaggerates the save.
It was spinning like a top. I think that was the thing that concerned Sunflowers.
Well, the ball has been spinning around this pitch frantically after a fierce first half here. Blackburn started well, but haven't created too much to trouble Mikloško, and West Ham certainly coming back at them as the half developed. At half-time here, it's West Ham United 0, Blackburn Rovers 0. Thank you, Richard. West Ham have been a league club since 1919, and their biggest defeat in all that time came at home to Blackburn Rovers, 8-2, Boxing Day 1963, famous not only for the margin, but also for the fact that a couple of days later the teams met again at Ewood Park, and West Ham got immediate revenge by winning 3-1. But here it's 0-0. And West Ham certainly ruffling the Blackburn feathers as the half developed, Andy.
Yeah, I think so. I think Harry Redknapp would have been delighted. He would have liked a goal, but I think he'd have an easy, not an easy half-time, but quite a good half-time to say to his lads, keep it going, pick up the tempo, that's important now. Half-time break, everyone tends to go a little bit flat. They'll be stressing the importance of picking the pace up again right away.
Well, Blackburn have been rather like a batsman looking for a maiden century, stuck in the nervous 90s. They don't have the proven record of success that's there at Old Trafford, their counterparts in this championship race. But they do have the points in the bag, but they need some more. 5 would end all the arguments. But of course, depends on Manchester United taking a maximum 12 from their last 4 games. Shearer's header down. Rieper. Cleared by Dix. That's another example there, Andy, of what you said about the absence of Tony Cottee, as Boere reflected on.
I think that's right. Cottee he wouldn't have been thinking of anything of coming short the way Hutchison did there, but he would have been looking in behind. Just gambling in behind. I do think they have missed that. It's been unfortunate for Harry Redknapp that Cottee wasn't available.
And it's a calf strain, in case you missed the news at the start of our programme. Had they taken a chance with him and he broken down today, of course that would probably finish him for the remainder of the season. So they'd like to have him possibly against the Queen's Park Rangers here on Wednesday. Holmes. This is Moncur. Even Hendry didn't break it up cleanly. Holmes lets fly. Kenna got in the way. Hutchison. And this is Witschge. Sherwood. Good pressure applied by Hutchison. Bishop's pass. Well, it was an inviting one, but the flag has gone up against Boere.
That was a lovely ball from Bishop. Once again, I always think if you're a front man and you're looking right along the line, there's no excuses here for being offside. He's looking right across the line of defenders there. You've just got to hold your position, but strikers get so anxious to get ahead and get forward. So often they catch up themselves offside.
He did approach the shots with the look of a man who'd rather have a far post cross head height. Berg. Hendry. Shearer. Saux was able to get there, and Alan Shearer still on the fringes of this match, really. But the threat, of course, is there all the time. Not getting too much service, but Blackburn looking a bit better here with Ripley. Showing he may be small, but he is strong. Boere tucking it neatly infield for Bishop. Saux, Breacker's sold forward here by the pass. The Saux cross, in goes Shearer.
Well, he would have fancied that. Steve Potts, as we said, not the biggest. Martin Allen's just about to be bookmarked, I think, down in front of us for that earlier tackle. He has been on Graham Saux, but certainly Shearer would have fancied that cross as it comes in. Potts is backing up, so you know he can't get up that high. Shearer's all over the top of him. He'll be a little bit disappointed he hasn't hit the target with that, Alan Shearer.
The 4th booking of the game. two for each club. Witschge. Moncur. Annoyed again with the attentions of Batty. Boere climbing. And again, Hutchison not quite reading the flicks.
There's enough there though, Mark, to give them confidence to aim at the big lad, isn't there? He's winning his fair share. We haven't seen Berg and Hendry clear too many back up to the halfway line.
Frank Clark was telling me after Forest played West Ham recently that Boere has given them trouble on a couple of occasions. Breacker. Flowers got to it. Boere was hoping that that might be his moment.
Well, that's a typical West Ham build-up when Tim Breacker gets involved, Martin, because he gambles when the ball's on the left-hand side of play. And Bishop spotted him beautifully. Played a great ball into space, and Tim Flowers does really well here. Full stretch. Just gets enough on it.
Moncur will take the corner. Rieper! West Ham have taken the lead through the big defender, Mark Rieper. His first goal in English football, and it could be a disastrous one for Blackburn Rovers to concede.
Well, they don't often concede. I think his look said it all. It's a set piece. They watch Rieper. He pulls in behind. He almost made them pay first half with a header. He certainly makes them pay this time. Nips in behind Chris Sutton, who's his marker. Powers the header down. Batty's just drifted off the post. You look at David Batty's position. He just leaves that half a yard at the post where he should be marking. It would have hit him on the chest if he'd have stayed there. And then it sneaks.
Well, the game stopped here, and Mark Rieper can clear his head of the obvious euphoria to concentrate on the defending that might be necessary. There was concern for Saux, but he's picked himself up. Blackburn Rovers have got to pick themselves up. Here comes Mikloško, to tumultuous applause from the West Ham fans, who are blowing their traditional bubbles here, waving the hammers, the inflatable kind, we hope. Because Mark Rieper, the Danish international defender on loan from the Danish club Brøndby. Hutchison, Flowers has to drop down, but it's always passing wide.
Well, there's no doubt they're shaking Blackburn Rovers with a performance since about the 15-minute mark. And Matt Holmes, you watch the quick feet here. Lovely stuff there. Slips it to Hutchison. I think, to be fair, the goalkeeper has that one covered. They were doing enough to be level, Blackburn, Martin. Certainly not enough to be winning the game, and not enough to get back in it. They've got to step up the game if they're going to get anything out of this. Well, what was a set piece? In my opinion, it was a move that preceded it. It was the important thing. The wonderful build-up, the ball from Bishop, the run from Breacker, that earned the corner. That was the important part.
And then a simple fact from the corner of an attacker beating a defender in the air. Although in positional terms, of course, it was a defender beating an attacker in Rieper getting in front, or getting above Chris Sutton to guide it in.
It was very similar to Gary Pallister's goal in the semi-final, wasn't it, when he pulled behind his marker. That's exactly what Mark Rieper did there. Chris Sutton got attracted to the ball, and it was a movement of a front man, not a centre-back.
Here's the Sutton. Well, if Blackburn Rovers want to be champions, even though the points tally tells you that the destiny will still be in their own hands, they're looking for Potts.
Well, that's an unusual sight, isn't it, Martin? Steve Potts getting a yellow card. He had a little nibble at Graham Saux here. Saux, you see the elbow comes round now, and then the kick. I think that's what he was booked for, but he was unhappy about Saux's right arm. coming across into his facial area.
The Sutton. Well, West Ham believe their recent form has been far above a side in relegation trouble. And they're justifying Harry Redknapp's belief in his players so far. Goal coming in the 6th minute of the second half.
There's a game on now. A lot of football to be played still in this match.
Rieper, incidentally, has attracted the attentions of Turkish football, where there's a lot of money, of course. He's, as I say, only on loan here, although that loan runs till the end of the year, not the end of the season. West Ham hope to be able to keep him. They'll certainly be redoubling the efforts, you feel, after that priceless goal. And some important defending prior to that. We've seen very little of Alan Shearer and Chris Sutton. And it's a bit of a silver lining, Mark Rieper to the cloud hanging over Alvin Martin, who's had neck trouble, hamstring trouble. As I'm sure you've read it over the past couple of days, they want him to stay here as well and have offered Alvin a contract which would complete 20 years as a Hammer. Sherwood. This is the Saux. Trying to make something happen. Blackburn need that. Let's hear from Nick Collins. Nick.
Well, Martin, because it's remained overcast, referee Kelvin Morton has just asked the club officials to put the floodlights on, so look out for that. You might be able to see it a bit better in a little while. The floodlights are about to go on.
Well, they like the floodlights here at West Ham, of course. We mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, we finally got it in, didn't we? It's always special under the lights here at Upton Park. I think what's important for Harry Redknapp's side that they don't get nervous now, Martin. They've got the goal and that they don't say, well, that's going to be enough and we'll sit back and absorb pressure. I think that would be fatal. It's important that they keep playing the way they have done. Well, for a good 40 minutes now.
Blackburn haven't been functioning, not after that bright 15 minutes. Part of that down to West Ham, but maybe a significant part down to worry as well. The finishing line is in sight, they're leading the race. Somehow, just since the belief has waned in recent weeks. Well, he's not the grim Reaper now, is he? The happiness for the Danish defender. Batty. Kenna. Sherwood. Quick feet again from Potts to balance out the height of Rieper in the centre of the defending. Kenna assessing what's on for the long throw. It's a very long throw, and right underneath it is Mikloško, the whistle.
He took a right gamble as well, the goalkeeper, because he came out very, very early, walked in amongst the players and just plucked out the air. But it's that man's goal that separates him. Now look at Sutton, 16, you see. He was a marker. And he just pulled behind him, but look at how important a Batty on the post. I always think when you put players there, often told him when I was coaching, man, hold on to it. Get your arm, your left arm on that post, then you know you're not leaving it. David Batty left that crucial, what, half a yard there of space.
1
jumping into Allen man. Breacker. Boere. Well, they're all doing their bit for West Ham United. It's a very committed performance. Maybe slightly relaxed, because others who could have stolen a march on them yesterday failed to do so. Batty. Half an hour left.
Might be a long half hour for West Ham, but I bet for Blackburn if it stays 1-0 it'll fly past.
Well, I think you can see a redoubling of the efforts to try and involve Shearer. Because Shearer has had a bit of a knee problem. A few weeks ago he missed some training. It's not always easy to exact information from Blackburn Rovers Football Club as to just how fit or not he might be. Potts. They'll be looking for leadership from the captain here. Hendry. Saux come so far together, these Blackburn Rovers players. Ripley. As Alex Ferguson has been saying, Manchester United can't win the title, Blackburn can only lose it. That's the way he puts it. Well, they're losing the game here at the moment. It's Holmes dropping up in the centre of West Ham's defending. Kenna. Batty. Kenna made a bit of space for himself here. Or scored his first goal for the club in the last match against Crystal Palace.
Well, it really did open up for Jeff Kenna. Just tucked inside and no one went to confront him. They backed away. A tight angle. It's always difficult to score.
Hutchison. Berg. Headed on by Shearer. Sutton. Rieper behind him. Made Witschge check. Sherwood. Put it right for Saux this time. Sutton trying to be there first. It's a corner. Well, they went behind Blackburn from a left-wing corner. Can they use the same route for an equaliser? Hutchison steered it away.
Well, you can put as many men as you like in there from a corner, Mark, but you've got to deliver it. And Witschge certainly didn't then.
That he does. Goalkeeper comes through the crowd. And this huge man who has made himself such a popular figure here. He's not missed the league game for more than 3 years. He wasn't going to miss this ball.
He's taken 1 or 2 chances today and gotten away with them. That's a good call. You could see Rieper was about to head the ball, and obviously the call was a good, clear one from the goalkeeper. He's pulled his head out the way and made the catch easy.
Holmes. That's Berg. It's a weak header. Bishop. Moncur. Blackburn finding it hard to get out though. They've got Kenna to clear. Shearer to show. Steer it off to Ripley. Blackburn's throw.
Now, they'll get nothing today, Blackburn, unless they really, really earn it. West Ham are in no mood, I feel, to give anything away cheaply.
Sutton, Sherwood. It's, well, a little more potent, shall we say.
He's getting more and more involved further up the field, Tim Sherwood, since they've gone behind. It's a nice link up with Sutton. He just pops it off, and he's a bit unlucky. Skips past Bishop, and it opens up for him. He just dragged the shot, just a touch, not much. Only about a yard wide. But I expect to see more and more of this from Tim Sherwood as the game goes on.
It is very rare for Blackburn to fail to score in a league game. It's only happened 4 times this season. They haven't scored here, and they're in danger of conceding a second. Hutchison dispossessing Berg. He feels it should be a corner.
He
gives a goal kick.
He picked out the very difficult option after winning the ball really well and getting away. You can see Moncur trying to get in. Well, that's a really difficult angle to be looking to beat someone like Tim Flowers from.
I'm not sure that Hutchison ever spotted Moncur. He was, as you say, desperately trying to get towards the far post area.
Just not happening for Blackburn at the moment. It's been 66 frustrating minutes. Well, they've enjoyed a lot of the possession, as you can see there. But I think for the majority, West Ham have been very, very comfortable at the back. But I think that's a credit to their defending as well.
Sutton making his own luck against Dix. Still Chris Sutton. And still, Mikloško was on his toes. And it looked as though he wasn't going to be required, that defenders would deal with the danger. Sutton wasn't giving it up. And out comes Breacker. Well, there's such a big difference these days between the haves and the have-nots, and I mean staying in the Premiership. West Ham want to be amongst the elite. It's shone through their performance here. Batty. Here's Moncur. Kenna had actually positioned himself very well and legitimately got in front of Moncur playing the ball.
I don't think it'll be too long until Kenna Dalglish is thinking of making a change. I think Witschge rather drifted in the second half. He hasn't been involved very much at all, and with Newell on the bench, it wouldn't surprise me if that was a type of change that Kenna Dalglish was looking at.
Well, Sutton's got in front of Breacker. Shearer.
That's typical of it. Yeah, it's typical of it, Martin. Good possession in a really dangerous area. The important pass has gone astray. You have days like that. If you want to be champions, when you're on a day like this, you've got to dig it out. Dig out a result somehow.
Should Blackburn lose, of course they still have 6 points to play for their last 2 games, and they only need 5. But my goodness, how much those matches come into sharp focus there. Home to Newcastle for Kenny Dalglish, and then away at Anfield, as he's tired, I'm sure, of everyone telling him. The only influence he can exert on the team now, really, is to change the personnel. And Newell. There are some relative newcomers. Witschge, you've mentioned. David Batty, of course, seems like a newcomer. His second full game of the season. Jeff Kenna as well.
That was super defending from Steve Potts there. Just for a moment there looked a dangerous situation developing, and he read it beautifully.
As he does again. Hutchison. Holmes away from Berg, confronting Kenna. Boere goes to the left, lovely run from him. Also there was movement from Moncur to the other side.
It's easy from up here, but I do think that was the most difficult ball he chose. Moncur. In fact, Boere created his run. As he runs across the back of Holmes here, he creates a bit of space there. Now just to the left, John Moncur is in acres of space. But it's always easy to pick out passes when you're sitting 50 foot up and watching the whole picture.
Well, Blackburn brains must be buzzing here. Batty. Cross from Ripley. Colin Hendry's right in there. Mikloško, as he balked. Shearer! No. It's not given. It is not given.
Well, he's come for absolutely everything. I said a little earlier, he's taken chance after chance, Mikloško, to be fair to him. He has come for absolutely everything. Now let's watch it closely. Henry knocks it back in. Well, I tell you what, I think they're a little unfortunate, Blackburn. You watch it again, he makes up his mind he's coming for this. He's got one of his own players and I mean, Sutton to me he's not off the ground, he's doing nothing but looking at the ball. I don't think you can see Mikloško coming from behind him. I think they're a little fortunate, West Ham.
And it was clearly Chris Sutton who was penalised. Shearer did nothing wrong.
Well, it was Sutton, no doubt, Mark. That's what the free kick was given for.
Sutton's offside. Blackburn are going to make a change. Well, Mike Newell has waited patiently while others have been getting the glory. Maybe now he can come on here and do something really decisive in Blackburn's time of need. The signing of Sutton, of course, relegated Newell really to status of backup player. Ripley is coming off. The Blackburn had the ball in Mikloško's net. Had that goal been given, I think Newell would be still sitting there with his tracksuit top on. But he's sent on. Hutchison. Back to him by the head of Kenna. Now Batty is walking the disciplinary tightrope booked in the first half. He's not going to incur further refereeing displeasure except in the shape of the West Ham free kick. It was a risk.
Yeah, I mean, he's just put his hip, it's almost a hip throw there. I don't think there was any risk of him getting booked for that. Well, he has an anxious little glance. We can have a look again, Mark, at this. Now look, there's Sutton. Now it's Tim Breacker who's all over him. Now the right arm goes up over Mikloško. Now that might well have been what the referee saw. I'm not so sure Chris Sutton knew an awful lot about who was behind him. But perhaps that right arm just coming up and impeding Mikloško was what Kelvin Morton saw.
Moncur takes the free kick. Here comes Dix. Well, disallowed goals for Blackburn. You think back to Old Trafford, whether this will be set alongside it, but on both those occasions, Blackburn not playing well when they thought they'd scored and a referee thought otherwise. Batty. Newell. Waiting numbers now. Here is Newell! Oh. They clipped the frame of the goal.
Well, that goalkeeper beating all ends up. That was quite beautifully struck from Mike Newell. Hard to look, it's like no backlift at all, just strikes it so sweetly. Mikloško's given that up for dead. He thinks he's beaten. He is beaten. The one thing that saves him, it just clips the top of the framework.
Newell, he's only given it to Hutchison. Good tackle by Batty. Saux lines it up. Oh, Mikloško's lost it. Shearer's there, Sutton's there, linesman's flagging. In following in, Blackburn caught offside.
Well, it bounced up at a horrible height for Steve Potts. When they're enjoying a fair share of luck now, that's a wicked one to deal with. It bounces just in front of him.
But where's
Shearer
the
keeps it
offside?
in. I didn't think he was offside. I'm not so sure he was. And whether they would have cleared it or not, certainly didn't look offside.
Boere has gone off injured. On comes Matthew Rush to play a part here before he starts a 3-game suspension for being sent off recently in a reserve match. He would be available again for the last match of the season for West Ham. We shouldn't forget that one. It is here against Manchester United. It's Rush, and Flowers did very well.
Oh yeah, well done the goalkeeper.
Oh, that would have been for the substitute. Rieper, misheading. What's in the right place again. He's been splendid on behalf of that West Ham defence. Batty. There's Moncur tracking back.
It's going to be a long 15 minutes for West Ham.
Dalglish trying to get to the ball there.
Both
To act as ball boy.
He's after the ball and Harry's after his team, trying to G them up.
Witschge, who had a good first half but's hardly been seen in the second. Shearer. Kenna collects. Batty. Blackburn would take the draw here, Andy, now.
Oh, you bet your life he'd take the draw now. You know, in all honesty, I think Harry Redknapp would have taken the draw. Yeah, look, relax. I think he's trying to get John Hutchison saying, hold the ball, give our defenders a breather. That's what's so important for front men at times when they're under the cosh, is that when the ball's knocked up to them, they can hold on to it for 5 or 10 seconds, just to give the back four a breather. I think that's what he was trying to stress there.
Well, Rush has come on to play up front with Hutchison, who is now the main big man, although when Boere was on, he was more the supporting player. Well, that sums it all up for you. It's even just the defeat here, it's the damage to morale for the 2 remaining games for Blackburn Rovers. But of course, Manchester United, as we keep saying, have got their own work to do. They've been quite happily letting Blackburn have the pressure. But if Blackburn lose, well, Coventry will certainly be pumped up tomorrow night. You'll see it, of course, live here on Sky Sports, every step of the way in this Championship challenge, which might go all the way. Well, that's one of the biggest crowds of the season here at Upton Park, and the vast majority very happy with what they've witnessed to this point.
I must say they don't have the look of a side who are going to be in trouble, Martin, if they can play like this.
Allen. Rush, Allen. It's still going West Ham's way. Allen got in some sort of cutback. Witschge. He looks tired. The flag has gone up against Rush.
I think it says something about a team, Mark, when you're 1-0 up and you're desperate for points and you're into the last 10 minutes. I looked up there and who was the furthest player they had up the pitch? Breacker, the right back.
Newell. Witschge. And a little cuff round the ear, Rush to Saux. And a bit of by-play as well afterwards, words exchanged. Blackburn need to keep their composure. Berg. Hutchison working hard to try and stop Berg setting a decent ball forward. He's picked out Shearer. This is Newell. Saux. That's a corner.
They've got plenty of height options as well, Blackburn now on the pitch with their arrival of Mike Newell, Colin Hendry, Berg, Sutton, Shearer. They've certainly got plenty of targets. And West Ham aren't the biggest side in the league.
Hendry, who's regained his scoring touch in recent weeks. He's scored in each of the last 2 games he's participated in.
I think this is what I mean. I think Rieper's got a real problem. He had half an eye on Berg and who's marking Colin Hendry, and someone's got to mark Shearer. The big men like Rieper and Hutchison who would be marking, have really got a problem in who to pick up.
With Sutton and Newell as well.
Exactly. Sometimes it's a matter of the biggest players there, you just tell them mark space, and if the ball's in your area, go and attack it and win it.
Across comes Breacker. A very tight-knit family club, West Ham United. The players have a day-to-day relationship with the supporters. Well, they've been tightly knit defensively here at the team. As Blackburn continue to have the possession, Mikloško trying to get out to where he might catch a long throw. Shearer, the chance to tee something up in the centre. Potts in the right place again. Blackburn Rovers chasing the game. Oh, hesitation between Breacker and Potts. Potts recovered. Moncur, lovely change of direction to lose Batty. Not panicking to find Allen. In comes Saux, foot raised. Breacker. Bishop. There's a ball on here to Rush. It's away from Hendry. Blackburn in distress again. Don Hutchison by the far post. Moncur is there as well. Here's Moncur. Here's Hutchison. West Ham believe they're home and dry here. They lead by 2 goals to 0.
And it was all down to the pace of Matthew Rush. You mentioned that they didn't have it in the first half, but on his substitute, the pace is important there. Hendry would have won that tackle against most other players, but watch the way he keeps his head. Doesn't pick out Hutchison, they get a bit of luck here. And Tim Flowers doesn't get any. And Don Hutchison drills it straight under the goalkeeper's body. But that was all about Matthew Rush's pace taking him clear. And they got a bit of luck. But they've worked hard and they've deserved every bit of luck they've had today.
Oh, what can Blackburn be feeling? Hutchison wouldn't have played if Cotty had been fit. Rush might not have been required then. But the two of them have come up with an attack here and a goal that has got the league leaders further into the mire. Witschge was calling for a handball there. Shearer, who seemed to see it as well, wasn't so animated in his protest.
Isn't it wonderful when you think how deep into the game we are, how a team are desperate for points, that there wasn't a thought Martin, of him just clubbing the ball up the pitch. It was another piece of nice build-up and a lovely ball from Bishop yet again.
Well, we've had this phrase, and we've heard it so often, too good to go down, but West Ham have been saying it and meaning it, and today they've been showing it.
You can have good players, Martin, but it's what those players are prepared to do. And Harry Redknapp's players in the last month, 6 weeks, have done everything that the manager's asked of them. And today's, it's not an exception, the performance you're seeing today. You know, they've really worked hard to get it. He's got a bad one, there's a lot of blood around there. Look at it on his left hand.
Here's Don Hutchison. Well, just as I said earlier, Andy, a player once signed by Kenny Dalglish, Don Hutchison.
I'll tell you what,
he's scored here and then taken a heavy blow.
He's taken the right whack there. But when he gets up and he thinks about this moment, then I'm sure the pain will be a lot less. I mean, Tim Flowers is so unlucky. He's got the shot covered comfortably, but the little nick off Jeff Kenna was important, and that's the only space to go. Under the goalkeeper there, driven low and hard.
Well, he's had something of a bad boy image, has Hutchison, at Liverpool, and even in his short time with West Ham. But he is a player of talent, and it's been the right side of him that we've seen today.
He looks really shaken up.
Really, as you say, dazed by it all. And at long last, it seems that Simon Webster is going to make his first senior appearance for West Ham United. He was signed almost 2 years ago from Charlton, was injured straight away seriously in a training accident with Julian Dick, strangely enough. He's been out for so long, he's had 7 games on loan at Oldham, and he's surprised Harry Redknapp by his rate of recovery, and here he is, feeling a West Ham player at last on because of the misfortune for the scorer of the second goal. But that's what's being acknowledged there by Harry Redknapp as he pats Hutchison's head as he makes his way off for attention. So there are some stories here today. Triumph for West Ham. Will it be tragedy for Blackburn Rovers?
Well, they've got a lot to do. They haven't given me the impression they're going to get back into the game. Apart from that one Shearer goal that was disallowed. And really that wasn't a chance that they really carved out. They've had problems creating an awful lot today.
Sherwood, it's a good strike.
I think there's a half of Manchester, Martin, will have enjoyed this game very much today.
Well, you say get back into the game. What about the championship position here? It's still in Blackburn's hands, even losing. But
yes, that's right. There's no doubt about that. But 2 big games. You wouldn't want to have to take 6 points from Newcastle and Liverpool. But you have to do that, and you know that, if they want to be league champions.
Moncur. Oh, he's playing with a freshness as though the season's only just begun. Good touchdown by Rush. Remember, they've lost both their frontmen now, West Ham, Boere and Hutchison. Well, Andy, it's time for you to make your decision about the man of the match.
Well, I think when you play Blackburn, you've got to have a back four that plays well, and I think they've had that today. And you've got to have your centre-backs play well. I think Mark Rieper's played exceptionally well, but a guy who doesn't caught many headlines, but gets on with the job and leads by example. My Carling Premiership man of the match, Steve Potts.
Champagne for the West Ham captain. Played almost 350 games here for his only club. Rush, roundly rebuked by Harry Redknapp for that red card in a recent reserve game. But he's done something positive to get back in the manager's good books since coming on as a substitute. And the crowd have just been informed of Andy Gray's award to Steve Potts as the Carling Premiership Man of the Match. Breacker. They've fought for every ball from the first whistle, and Blackburn have not matched that. Holmes squeezing it through for Rush. Shearer, Sutton. Potts is back there again. Witschge going through the motions, really trying to get across quickly to take the corner as we go into stoppage time. But the margin is irreparable here. Moncur, there's no one to find with a long clearance, so he puts it out of play.
Found the manager, that's good enough. 91st minute, they're quite happy.
Newell. Here's Rieper. Newell. Well, it's the anthem that West Ham are known for throughout the football world. Haven't had too many occasions to sing it this season, but this is a proud victory for them, a significant victory for them. But what of Blackburn Rovers?
It's very much a deserved victory in my opinion. They've been the better side on the day. They look like, and I know it's not true, they've looked like they've wanted it just that little bit more. I felt it was a bigger game for West Ham than Blackburn, and certainly that looks as if it showed in the match. Blackburn could have no arguments about the final result.
And Manchester United still have to play. Shearer. Moncur. Now Allen, holding the shape on the right-hand side. Breacker. It's a push by Rush. But Hendry is a hard man to shrug aside whatever the circumstances, and he went rather easily then, as Blackburn have today. Saux. Moncur settling for what West Ham have achieved already. Bishop. Batty. Now Newell. For Shearer. Bishop able to steer a steady path along the edge of that penalty area, which wasn't easy. Into the 4th minute of time added on. Blackburn know there's nothing they can do today. It has to be another day. They will hope for help from those who play Manchester United in their 4 remaining games. Rush is well offside, and Calvin Morton now surely is only dealing in seconds. Batty. Newell. Sherwood's got 1 or 2 to his left. Witschge. Saux, it deflects off Breacker. Still time perhaps for a corner to be taken. But surely not time to ruin West Ham's afternoon. Hutchison, we hear, has broken his nose in the West Ham cause. That's Holmes, I think, who got to it. Shearer tries to plant it back. It's just not happening. Rush. Well, he's got a long, long way to go. Witschge trying to get with him. Flowers gets a hand to it, and there's no follow-up. Blackburn are beaten. No disputing the margin. West Ham have played so well, and the championship story still has a chapter or two to be written. Mark Rieper with the crucial first goal here. John Hutchison with the second. West Ham win, and they are on the way up at Upton Park, and they hope out of trouble. But Alan Shearer and his team have got to get their heads together now. Let's just remind you of the championship situation. The finishing line is in sight. Blackburn's destiny is still in their own hands, much depending on what Manchester United do in 2 matches before Blackburn are back in action in 8 days' time. But West Ham, with 4 games to go, 3 of them here, are in great spirits. Redknapp paints such vivid pictures of managerial pressures, but he can feel more relaxed tonight. His players have done him proud, while the bus heading back tonight to Blackburn might well contain some very nervous characters. West Ham United 2, Blackburn Rovers 0.
Were you watching Manchester? You bet. It's over to you. So much to look back on from a smashing match at Upton Park, all of Saturday's goals. Kevin Moran's our guest. We'll get his thoughts and reaction